Morning, my name is Bram. I live in South Africa. Me and my family fell victim to home invasion and robbery on a small holding on Buffelspoor. I was working on Teresa mine as a drilling foreman, as I've been doing that for the last 19 years. My wife notified me roughly at 11:12 that the dogs are barking, and she's quite wary about it and worrying about why is the dog barking constantly. So I can't leave my shift and go home to go and see what's wrong. I must wait for my worker's shift to end. So my worker's shift ended at 2 o'clock, roughly 2:15. I was out the mines gate. I went and dropped my workers off at home. And so I went back home to go and see if everything is alright, because it's quite close to the mine. And as I stopped at home, I haven't even switched off the vehicle yet, and I was already held at gunpoint by two assailants. And they continuously told me on the way to the back door that I must shut up and must make a noise, otherwise they're going to kill me. And they made me unlock the door. I unlocked the door and went into the house. The assailants went to my wife's room, go and collected my wife, and sat us down in the living room. They tied us up. They picked me up and took me into the kitchen, and still continuously tell me I must just be quiet, otherwise they'll kill me. And they asked for money, and they were adamant about a laptop and firearms, which we did not have. And they took the money that we had in the wallet. It was money for the next day for bread, milk, and transport. And they went on taking my cell phone, my wife's cell phone, and that's when they started becoming rude and telling me all sorts of stuff, that what their plans are, and I must just keep quiet, otherwise it's going to be difficult for us. And they continued in the house, ransacking the house, looking for valuables. And at that time, my wife saw a chance to stand up and run out the back door, maybe to go scream and get help. And she still asked me quietly, is it fine? And I said, yeah, they're inside the house, I can't see them. So she stood up and she ran. As she exited the back door, both assailants ran after her. And at that time I heard loud screaming from my wife's side outside. And I don't know what happened, and shots went off. At that time, the second assailant turned around, came back into the house. As he came through the door, he had the gun ready pointed for my head to shoot me point blank. And at that time, still the shots were screaming outside. And the guy shot the first shot, and I was able to eat the gun away, so he shot me in the arm. I grabbed him, and we struggled. In the struggle, he shot me once on my shoulder, and then two shots went off, and the fifth shot went below my shoulder, right through my body, severing the nerve in my back. So I'm permanently in a wheelchair now. I did not know what was happening outside because of all the shots. I don't know if my wife was still alive. My wife didn't know if I was alive, because in total it was 10 shots that went off between the two assailants. My wife is outside, I'm inside. The direction of the shots was directly towards my sons as he shot me. So that was the very first thought that went through my mind was, I don't know what happened to my wife, and I don't know if my sons is fine, because the way that he shot me was in the direction where they were sitting in the lounge. My eldest son saw this whole incident happening. And they shot me. I was laying in the ground. I was able to basically drag myself towards the kitchen floor, and that's where I rolled over. The assailant that shot me still stood by the basin in the kitchen and wait to see if it was fatal, if I'm gonna die. Maybe he stood there for a good 5 minutes just staring at me until I asked him nicely, listen please, you can leave now. We've got nothing for you. And he slowly exited the door, met up with the other assailant outside, and they walked off. That's what I could have seen. As they walked off, I saw them disappearing through as I was laying and I was looking outside. I called my sons to see if they are fine. My eldest son replied immediately and said, no, he's fine. So I asked him, listen, come here. He was still scared. And he came to me and I asked him, listen, close the back door and lock it, because I don't want them to come back. We were able to close the back door and lock it. And at that time, I did not know what was happening outside. My wife is fine. And I was lying in the kitchen floor. My son helped me with towels. What was happening outside? My wife is fine. And I was lying in the kitchen floor. My son helped me with towels to basically prevent the blood from running everywhere as I was lying on the floor. I don't know how much time went past as I was lying there and my son was helping me the whole time. I don't know how much time went past until I saw blue lights coming towards the small holding. And at that time I heard voices outside and I heard my wife's voice. So that was the very first time that I knew that, listen, I don't know if my wife is unscathed or what happened, but I heard her voice. She came into the house. I felt very assured because my wife, by God thank you, did not get shot. And basically that is what happened. And their plans that they told me, if it was successful, they still made remarks when they put my wife down. And I could understand it because I've been working on the mine for a very long time. I could understand what their remarks was, and they were definitely going to rape my wife, and they're going to make me watch it. I still told him in the kitchen that, listen, this is going to become a fight. And he still said, listen, I'll shoot you, I'll kill you. I must keep quiet. And they're going to do what they want to do. I don't know why, but that is what happened, and that is their motives. It's not just a robbery. They made it personal immediately of what their plans was to do what they wanted to do. And for me, it's not just a robbery. They really wanted to hurt us. And if they get something in the process, it's a bonus. Now, the aftermath of being shot, for me, I don't think there's any person on this world that can understand how it is to lose your ability to walk. It's not nice. They did not just rob us. They stole everything.
Ja hom nie nou stop nie.
It's been 2 years. The person that says it gets better, being paralyzed, is lying. It does not get better. I did not just lose the ability to walk, I lost the ability to provide for my family. I struggle every day of my life. I'm in pain. I can't explain. And there isn't one doctor that I know of that's willing to help me. This is hard. This is really hard. And being paralyzed is expensive. All the medical costs just build up and build up and build up. I'm too small for my wheelchair. My wheelchair is too small for me now. I must get a new wheelchair. I don't know what to say next. It's hard. It's difficult. Every time I must relive this. I relive this every day of my life. I can say for 2 years I've been shot every single night of my life. I've been shot. Reliving that thing each and every day. But I just want to thank everybody that helped us up until now. And everybody that stood there and stood behind what they said they're going to do, they done. And we are really thankful for that. And thank you for the people that came into our lives and just done nothing. Thank you. This is my life.